Everyone has their favorite movie. Mine is Grown Ups.
This was a mistake! I can't let go! I'm too scared! Oh!
And how is this movie doing critically? Not good. Very not good. But if you have no idea what Grown Ups is, let me explain. The movie is about... Wait, I could just make someone else explain.
Okay, so Grown Ups is a story of 5 high school friends all reconnecting after the death of their old basketball coach. Headed up by Adam Sandler.
Grown Ups is not a bad movie, and I believe that to the core of my soul. But mostly, everyone who didn't watch the movie completely disagree with me. And if you're asking, well, what am I gonna do about that? I'll tell you, I will. I will do something about that. That's why today I'm going to go over all those reviews out there of Grown Ups. I'm talking video reviews, IMDb reviews, Rotten Tomato reviews, and we'll list the biggest cases of why people saying this movie sucks. All just to prove that Grown Ups is actually a good movie.
Scene where they confess each other's secrets, and you know what? It's completely inconsequential. You know why? Because there's no narrative structure that makes these revelations feel important.
First thing first, if you want to dictate a movie as bad, you're gonna have to know what it is and what it should be first, to dictate where it comes short at. And then it can be bad. But something I found going over all these reviews that they never know what this movie is supposed to be first before they start complaining how bad it is. You know, when you say the plot is bad and the writing's lazy and some saying there was no plot at all, whatever that means, you have to tell me what the movie is supposed to be first. And to me, this movie is just a simple, silly comedy of a goof film. And when you do a comedy film of this nature, you don't need much of a strong non-comedy lore. Just focus on the jokes and have a plot that supports that. Nothing fancy, exactly what you need for this type of film. But although a lot of people would disagree with me, many do agree and says that Adam Sandler and his buddies doing a reunion is exactly the plot this type of film needs and will thrive comedically with. Look, I understand that Adam Sandler and his buddies didn't and might never win an Oscar, but I give him some slack here. You know, I don't know what you expected for watching this film, a godfather type of acting, and second of all, they're all comedians. I wouldn't expect a comedian to act more than to do his comedic part. And that will take us to...
Are the smallest of sins compared to just jarring tonal shifts between grossed out stupid humor and then...
In this world, everyone has their sense of comedy. And believe me, there's a lot of comedy styles out there, even for films. Remember when I talked earlier in the video, I mentioned how films need to be defined before being criticized, and that counts for their comedy. See, a lot of people will agree with the statement, Grown Ups is not a funny movie, but believe me, for this style of comedy, it is. But the way I see it, the film did the comedy style it was supposed to for this type of film. See, comedy films in the early 2000s were much simpler than they are today. A film revolving around Adam Sandler and his buddies getting together for a reunion in the memory of their basketball coach might not have been that bad of a comedy style. And I get it, the 5 jokes might have been a little too much, but that's the movie. It's silly, it's goofy, it's dumb, it's not supposed to be clever, and that's fine. Not funny could mean a lot of things for a lot of people, but for this film it's definitely unjustified.
With his buddies that he went, did the basketball thing with, and it would be kind of sweet. I thought there was a lot of like, oh yeah, that made me feel kind of good. It wasn't really that funny, but it made me kind of feel good.
I was going to ask you, was it funny though? Did you laugh?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. People would like this film until somebody tells them not to. Until the social pressure of hating a dumb comedy movie. You know what I would say to those people?
You need to do better.
They made another one? That's right. At the end of the day, if you had to wonder how bad Grown Ups has been, it was successful enough for them to produce another one. And that's kind of ticked off a lot of people. See, a film only needs to be financially successful for it to have a sequel. It's like the phrase, hate me or love me, you watched. And that's what's special about films back in the day and now. We see with films like Grown Ups that as much as people see it's bad, it still has an enormous amount of watchers and cultural effect. I mean, you don't even have to watch Grown Ups to know it exists. That's what's special about Grown Ups. It's very famous, a very famous bad movie. Or is it? I don't know if I convinced you that Grown Ups is not a bad movie. I will leave that for you to decide. I appreciate you for reaching the end of the video. Until next time, goodbye.